In the meantime, I have some thoughts on the Panthers. I want to be clear on something. I'm not saying Bryce Young will never be a good quarterback. I'm nearly there to say he will never be a good quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, which is part of it. It is. You can like a player and recognize that it's not just the player that ends up being responsible or causing success or failure. It is a combo of team and player for nearly everybody. And it's one of the things I believe wholeheartedly, especially at the quarterback position. At any point in time walking planet Earth, there are 4 or 5 what I call inevitables. These are players that if you were to pick up and drop onto any franchise, anywhere across the league, any college, the flag football men's league team, like they're going to put out a productive offense in every situation just by nature of them being them. And right now, it's the Mahomes, it's the Allen, it's the Lamar. Like there's not many at any point in time. Every other player is what I call situational. There is something in their situation that they need. And if they don't have that thing or those things in their situation that they need, they can't make it work. That's how you end up with players who are busts and then they go play for a certain team and suddenly they look like geniuses. And it's like, well, they didn't have this and now they do. And then it goes vice versa, right? Then you go like think Geno Smith is a good example. Geno Smith was a bust in multiple locations. He goes to Seattle, he's a $100 million quarterback. Goes to the Raiders, all he can do is throw interceptions. There was something in that situation with the Seahawks that worked. It was probably DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like it probably was they had guys that were making plays down the field and Geno Smith can launch it. Now he's got like a tight end in Brock Bowers and he's got a running back, but he doesn't have those true downfield threats and it's not working as well. No disrespect to Jacoby Myers. I know NC State fans are clinging on to good right now. He is a very good player, but he's not the downfield threat that DK is. Bryce Young needs an offense and a play caller and a group that is kind of custom built to him. He is an unusual quarterback. I'm not saying he's bad. He is unusual. He's small, first of all. His superpower has nothing to do with having the strongest arm. What he can do is be accurate when in rhythm, and when he gets into a rhythm, he can be really good for stretches. Like, that's his thing. At Alabama, it would take him maybe a drive or two to complete 3 passes in a row, and then once he did, it was, right? Then he was off to the races. With the Panthers, he doesn't have a play caller that believes in him, and I think it's pretty obvious at this point that Dave Canales doesn't trust him to sling it. And he doesn't have a group of players around him that are built just to get him rolling.
Yeah, I mean, there's like it doesn't help that there's like 3 healthy wide receivers
for the
Panthers right now.
And even like I'm a big fan of Fritterer and McMillan. Fritterer and McMillan is high risk, high reward. He's dropping some. I'm not going to hide from it, right? I'm not going to excuse him from it, but he is much more of I'll make crazy plays, like the one on the sideline. I'll make crazy plays like he's already made in his first month, and I might drop an easy one. If you're somebody that needs to see 3 go through the hoop before you start catching fire, that's a bad wide receiver to have for you. It's so obvious that Dave Canales and Bryce Young,
they're not on the same page.
There's even a bit of distrust there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's obvious when they bust out the most frustrating, just 3rd and long, dives up the middle with Rico Dowdle in plus territory. I wanted to, I mean, I probably should have turned the game off when that happened, but I wanted to just walk away and stop watching the game after that. It's just, I understand you might have some concerns about, getting too aggressive. And maybe there have been some issues with the line because there's injuries there as well. But you're basically giving up when you call that play.
if there were, like, if let's go to a mythical world here. This is a fantasy novel, Harry Potter world of some kind. If every NFL owner at one time, every decade, got to use a truth serum, got to just take an injection, put it into anybody of their choosing, and ask 3 questions, I would use it when hiring a coach. And the question I would ask is, do you actually believe in this quarterback wholeheartedly? Because when you're trying, when Dave Canales is trying to be a Panthers head coach, it's not like he had 10 offers to be a head coach and he got to pick his guy, right? If he would have said no to the Panthers, there's a good chance he still wouldn't be a head coach. So, of course, do you believe in Bryce? Well, you're not going to move on from Bryce. You just drafted him, first overall pick, traded. Yeah, I love that guy. I can't wait. Oh, they weren't using him right last year. Here, he's great. And if you don't actually believe it, you're going to be 2 years in. You're going to have 3rd and 11. You're going to have the play call in your brain that you know is the best, and you're going to go, I can't call that. This guy can't do that. All right, let's run the draw. Let's run another screen that he can dirt into the ground. When you want to be a head coach, you'll say anything. Even, yeah, that guy's great, I'll fix him. And then you hire him, and you realize it's not the same, and it doesn't work out. Meanwhile, there may have been a coach out there. Maybe there's an offensive guru-ish player out there, or coach out there, that really did believe in Bryce, and then you would see a different beast, but it's not there. And then add to it that you're looking across the field on Sunday, and you've been looking for a quarterback with the it factor, with the forget it, I'll do it myself factor for years, and you see Drake May. And he's from your state. And he played college in your state. And he grew up a fan of your team. And he's scoring a touchdown against you and breaking out the iconic celebration of your icon, Cam Newton. He's doing the Superman celebration as an homage to your icon, your MVP. And you're going, feel like we should have known about him a bit earlier, huh? Feel like maybe we shouldn't have been in a rush to trade up for a quarterback the previous year when we knew that guy was coming up. And, oh, by the way, you could have taken him with that pick. Or Caleb Williams, who looks rejuvenated. Or Jaden Daniels, who's been great from the beginning. They're like, oh, yeah, huh. But we got this guy that we don't believe in, huh?
Well, I think it's important, though, when we're having these Bryce Young discussions, that it's important to acknowledge that multiple things can be true at the same time. Obviously, Bryce Young has not played to his full potential.
Okay.
But
I feel like you were about to be complimenting to Bryce.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know exactly which way, because obviously he is not the only problem with this team.
Not at all.
He's not really contributing to the solution either with his play. So multiple things can be true at the same time. They're both, the coaching and the support around him is lackluster, and it does need to be better. But Bryce needs to be better as well. If you're a first overall pick, I understand you're working with limited resources, but you got to show that talent. They traded and maybe they shouldn't have. Obviously, it's
definitely shouldn't have, but continue.
It's a controversial move, and it has been since the day they made it. If you're going to be that guy that they make that big move to get, and you're this guy who's hyped up to be this elite processor, this elite talent who sees the field great, and you're able to overcome your limitations when it comes to size, so much so that you become the first overall pick, you have to show that talent. You have to be able to elevate some. I'm not expecting you to carry the whole team and turn them into the best offense in the NFL, and I know that you're limited by some of the play calling, but you have to elevate them somewhat.
I want to be clear on this, and that's why I said I'm not saying Bryce will never be a good quarterback. I'm saying I don't think it'll happen in Carolina. Carolina doesn't need a good quarterback. There are a lot of teams out there that would kill. They would do heinous things for a good quarterback. I don't think Carolina needs a good quarterback. They need a program changer. They need a culture shifter. They need one of those guys that can come in and be so good that David Tepper can learn to be an owner while they're winning on the field, that the defense can figure out what they need to figure out while getting support.
Yes.
Somebody that can watch the punt return, take the wind out of their sails after a great start, and instead of just going with the flow of the avalanche downhill, can look around and, to use a Cam Newton cliche, a GIF that's out there, nod aggressively one time and go grab the ball. And if that's not in you, it's not in you, because there's nothing worse than somebody pretending that's them, right?
Yeah.
You have to authentically be that, and we see it every couple of years. It happens. If it's not Bryce, it's not Bryce. That's no disrespect to him. It's not any of us statistically.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 of them at any point in time. That's what Carolina needs to turn it around. This isn't like, you see this on, you probably don't do this yet, watching HGTV, all those shows.
I mean, I would watch them with my mom growing up.
Well, yeah, there you go. That tracks. When people are like into buying a fixer-upper, and what they really want is something that's like, oh, I can paint a couple rooms and maybe redo a bathroom. And then what they get when they get a fixer-upper is like, oh, the foundation is broken, the beams in the ceiling are coming down, there's mold in the attic, and we're going to have to strip this thing to the studs. Like, there's 2 different skill sets there. The Panthers and Panthers fans are acting like, as long as we have somebody who's willing to work on the weekends and has a roller for their paint, we should be good to go. He's trying hard. And I'm going, no, you need like a backhoe. You need somebody with some certifications, with some licenses here and some power tools. Like, this is not you need a cement truck out front and a dumpster in the driveway for like weeks.
You need to call up Maynard Services. Instead, you got the kid from down the street with his tractor.
This ain't my dad was handy, let me give him a call. This is we might burn the house down if we make one false step. And Bryce is more of like, he's handy. He can help an offense, right? 2 willing hands if you give him pizza and beer. No, you need a professional for this. You need Cam Newton. You need Joe Burrow. You need Josh Allen. You need somebody that's going to walk into a moribund franchise and walk out a winner.
The problem is,
they don't grow on trees.
Yes, they don't grow on trees. And if they ever got in a position where, okay, they decide we're moving on, we're going to draft the next hot quarterback, do we have faith that Dan Morgan and David Tepper and everyone involved in making that decision would draft the right guy?
I think if they had the first overall pick when Cam Newton was there, if they had the first overall pick when Joe Burrow was there, if they had the first overall pick when some of these obvious ones are there, yes. And then you have to get lucky. I don't think the Chiefs thought Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. I think they drafted him and went, whoa.
But that's kind of a different situation, right? Because you've got a team that's already got the great coach in place that's already successful.
We're going to move on to open up the phone lines. But also, I think if Patrick Mahomes was drafted to the Browns right now,
well, he'd be good.
He'd be a winner. I think he is an inevitable. He didn't have to, but I think he could have.